I have 4 university degrees and I spent 10 years in university acquiring those degrees. So in that time, I was at King's College London, University College London, Imperial College London and Roehampton University. I was around a lot of academically successful and high achieving individuals. And in that time, I learned very quickly that a lot of that success glistens, but it isn't gold. And especially now being out of university for quite a few years, I have realized that it can sometimes feel like everyone is ahead of you and that you are always behind them. And it seems like everyone on LinkedIn has a better career than you. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about 7 ways that you might be feeling like you are falling behind. And whilst it might seem like double standards coming from me, having that kind of education and being at that level of high achieving is not everything. And here are 7 reasons why it is okay if you don't have 4 degrees, if you haven't gone to all the best universities, and if you aren't climbing that career ladder, it's completely okay. The first thing is comparison culture. We always like to compare, and it's never like for like. You might look at me and think, oh, she's got 4 degrees, I don't have even 1, or I only have 1. But you don't know the privileges that I have had. You don't know the situation that I have been in, or the difficulties that you have had that have meant that you haven't been able to acquire that. It is not fair to compare like for like when they actually aren't. You have still made such good progress in your career and in your education. You might have got your first degree, and that would have been such a huge achievement. You could have been the first person in your family to have even gone to university. So by comparing to someone that has 4 degrees, it's a really unfair comparison, and it's not going to be celebrating yourself in the way that you should because of your achievements and the fact that they're so high. The second thing is visible achievements and hidden struggles. Again, you might see people posting online and going on LinkedIn and saying that they have been promoted to this position, or they have got this new role or this new job. But what you haven't seen is you haven't seen the 18, 19, 20-hour days that they're doing. You haven't seen their relationships break down because they have just got no time outside of work. You haven't seen the money struggles that they might have. You haven't seen the other struggles that they are not showing, and you're only seeing that facade of the career, that kind of title, the degree that they have, the doctor in front of their name, and not seeing that actually that comes with a struggle that you wouldn't be happy with. And don't forget that people always hide these struggles. So by comparing to someone that is only showing the successful positions and nothing else, again, you're giving yourself a disservice. And this takes me on to my third point, which is that social media is a highlight reel. I only post when I am achieving, when I have done something amazing. I don't want to post online when I'm not happy, or like when I feel like I failed at something. And that is a case for most people as well. They only post themselves when they're looking their best, when they've got their makeup on, when they're dressed up. They don't show themselves first thing in the morning or late at night. And that's something that you have to remember. It's very easy for us to go online and scroll on Instagram or social media and feel like, wow, everyone's achieving so much and they're hitting all of these milestones. But like I said, you're only seeing the highlight reel, and you are also achieving those milestones even if you're not posting them online, and that is completely okay. The fourth thing is that everybody has a different speed and everyone has a different pace of learning and achievement. I was someone who went straight from my undergrad to my master's to my PhD, and I finished my PhD at 25. I also know of someone that finished their undergrad, had kids, and then finished their PhD. So we have both finished our PhD. At this point, we are both PhD graduates. One had kids in between and I didn't. And we are both as successful as each other. And what I think is important to note here is if the second person was looking at me thinking, oh, I've got kids and she's got a PhD, that would be a really unfair comparison, because firstly, having kids is not easy, and that in itself I think is harder than a PhD, to be completely honest, now that I've done both. But I think, it's really important to remember that everyone has a different pace. You can get there too, but you might get there a bit later. But you've achieved more than person one because you've got your kids, and that's amazing. That's a huge achievement, and that's something that people are really appreciative of. And I think it's important to remember that it's not a race. Education and career is not a race. If you get to managerial position at 10 years as opposed to 4 years later, that's also okay. It's not a race, and everyone works at different paces. And also don't forget that everybody has different commitments that they're willing to give. So for example, I might not be willing to work on weekends and evenings, so I probably will get promoted a bit later than the person that is happy to give up 5 years of their life to their corporate job. I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy myself. So because of that, I'll probably be promoted later, and that's also okay. And there are some skills as well that you might be learning along the way that you just need to be picked up and helped with a little bit. And one of those skills, for example, in my field is academic writing. And in today's video, I want to speak about Jenni AI, who is sponsoring this portion of the video. So Jenni AI is an AI-powered writing tool that is your writing assistant. It uses AI technology to formulate the next best sentence based on what is already written. Now, Jenni AI is a really cool AI writing tool that allows you to take your writing from maybe a basic rough draft to a polished version, so it can help speed up that process if you're someone that's struggling to get to that perfected point. Let me show you a few ways that Jenni AI can help you with improving your academic writing. Let's look at how we can use Jenni to write a strong cover letter for a job application. Now, in this example, I am showing it's for a nursing job, but of course it can be used for any job or even any kind of application or any kind of writing that you are doing at all. Most typically, you might use it for academic style writing, but as you can see, you can use it for anything. So it has given me the first best sentence for this particular piece of work. So I'm saying that I'm excited to apply for the head nurse position, and I fill it in with the gaps based off of my specific information. And then it's given me a next sentence, and I can definitely look at this sentence and not just copy it, but actually look at the structure. So looking at, okay, the next thing I want to say is something about how much experience I have, what kind of skills I have, and get straight to the point in terms of my track record. And then following this, I can go into a bit more depth. But for the first paragraph, you want to give them a quick synopsis of you as a person. And this is a great way of, like I said, starting off with the cover letter by getting these suggested sentences by Jenni. Then for the second paragraph, I have written this first sentence out myself, because in this sentence, I want to talk a little bit more about specifically who I've worked with, and that is with elderly patients. And so I've said, this is the sentence that I want to discuss, and this is what I want to discuss in this paragraph. And I'm asking Jenni, using the AI commands, to expand on this and keep on writing. And again, you can see sort of what it said. It's talking about things like having to be really compassionate and give dignified care. And these are some themes that you might want to consider. And again, this next sentence that I'm highlighting, I like what they've said, but that isn't relevant, or it isn't sort of exactly what my experience reflects. So again, I would, change this up and make it specific to you. But it's important here to note that it's giving you a really good structure and outline from where you can expand and from where you can make it personal and make it more specific to your experience. Some other things that you can do is you can also ask it to simplify. You can ask it to write more academically if you want, to write more persuasively, to write longer, to paraphrase. There are so many different kind of features that Jenni offers on their platform. And again, now with this third paragraph, I want to speak about communication. And again, I've written out the first sentence, and it's giving me a suggested next sentence, which again, like I said, is just amazing. It helps smoothly allow the process to continue on when it comes to writing. And again, you can see I have used a opposing argument here, but I'm not going to be adding it because I don't think you should add it into a personal statement or into any kind of job application cover letter statement, but I'm showing it to you as an example for what you can do. And then I want to kind of finish off this cover letter, but I'm not sure how. So I'm going to use the Ask Jenni tool, and I'm saying, what is a strong way to end this cover letter? And it actually, amazingly, I think, quite cool because it's giving you live feedback. So it's saying that this cover letter is really well written, but here are some ways to kind of reiterate your enthusiasm for the role, and it's giving me a really specific ending. Again, look at it, take a look at it, think if that's how you want your the reader to remember you last, or the last thing that they want to kind of see from you in terms of what's being written. And again, kind of tailor it and center it to exactly how you want it to sound. But look, in literally 3 minutes, I have written a cover letter. I have not sped this up at all, so you can see how long it has taken me. No more than 3 minutes exactly. If I look at my time, how long has it been? 4 minutes on the dot. And I have written a full cover letter, which I think is actually quite a high standard. And if you were to spend some more time editing it using the AI commands, making it sound better in certain areas, of course tailoring it a bit more, thinking about what you want to speak about, you could genuinely have a cover letter written in less than 5 minutes, which I think is, and it's written by you in less than 5 minutes. So I love that. And if you want to try Jenni AI, remember that I've left the link in my description down below and a discount code which you can use for 20% off of the paid plans. The 6th point is that a lot of the time when we're thinking about comparison and comparing with each other, we're only looking at the academic hard skills. We're not looking at the soft skills, and we really undervalue them. Success in education is not just about the title, the PhD, the master's, the doctor. It's also about what other skills that you have gained along the way. And these personal skills tend to be underlooked. And so when we compare each other, and when I'm thinking about like comparing myself to someone else, I'm just thinking about what's outwardly tangible and what I can actually see. Whereas actually this person might have spent months and years learning a new language, which I think is so cool and such a hard thing to do, and they've been more successful in that than I have. But I'm just looking at the fact that, oh, I've got a PhD, so I'm more successful, or he doesn't and he's less successful, and that isn't the case at all. So think about, if you're comparing just tangible things, think about what else you have been successful in that other person might not have. Now, this one is going to come from a place of, having African parents. I'm sure we can all agree, having Asian African parents, we have really high expectations, and there's a lot of pressure that's put on us to reach certain targets in a certain order by a certain age. You're 25, you need to have a degree, then you need to get married. Where's the kid? Where's the car? Where's the house? And there's a lot of pressure that's put on you. And if you're not meeting those, you might feel like you're late, right? And that is something that I 100% went through. When I finished my university degree, I was like, okay, what's next? And it was either get a job, you buy a house. Like, it's those kind of successful achievements that to me marked academic success or like life success. And that can give you the feeling that you're running out of time. Actually, you're a fresh 23-year-old, you're a fresh young 24, 25-year-old. You shouldn't feel like that. And a lot of the time it's due to external pressure more than what you actually feel. And I think if you're in your late 20s, or even if you're in your early 30s and you're feeling like, I haven't done these things, I haven't got married, and I don't have an amazing job, and I don't have X, Y, and Z. Are you happy with where you are? Or is it because your mum or your parents or your whatever is that in your ear saying you need to have these things by this particular age? Or are you actually happy with where you are? There's so much time, you're so young, and just think about whether it's that comparison that you're having in your mind is because of you or because of the external factors. And the last reason why you might be feeling like you're falling behind is because you actually had a transition in your life. A lot of people's journey is not linear. Some people, it is. Like I said, with mine, I went from undergrad, PhD, and job. But for a lot of people, they might do a degree and then realize, actually, I want to do a different degree, or actually, I want to go back to graduate medicine. I prefer that. So you spend another 4 years doing that, or you start a job and you realize this career isn't for me. And so you end up transitioning. And there is a period of time where you are, of course, stagnant, right? If you have done a biomedical degree and now you're not going into the workplace, and rather you're going back to university to do another 4 years, your friends who were doing that same degree with you in the first place are going to be in their jobs, whereas you are back at university. So it might feel like you've fallen behind, but actually there's a catch-up period. You'll get there. You'll get to the stage where you're earning just as much as them, or you'll get to the stage where you are at their particular career levels. But it just was because you transitioned, and that's okay. Would you rather have been in a career or in a degree or course that you didn't enjoy just because it meant that you weren't wasting 2 or 3 years transitioning? Those 2 years, trust me when I say, those 2 years are absolutely nothing. I remember when I was applying for undergrad and I was thinking, should I apply for medicine or should I apply for biomedical sciences or like biochem? And one of the big actually determining factors that stopped me from applying to medicine was that medicine was 5-6 years and this was 3 years. And in my head I was like, oh my God, that's 3 years, that's so long. And looking back at it now, it's like, actually, that shouldn't have been something that I considered, because 3 years is such a short amount of time. It has already been for over 4 years since the pandemic. Can you believe that? In that 4 years, what has happened? So people have finished a whole degree since the pandemic. So it's really important to not consider time as something that has held you back from being successful or like comparing yourself to other people. I hope you found this video useful. It's a bit of a different one for me, but I feel like I just wanted to make sure that people weren't looking and comparing with other people's success and not considering the factors that mean that you haven't got there yet, or the reasons why you didn't get there, or the reasons why that success might not be for you and you have other successes in other areas and other fields. If you found this video helpful, then I would love your thoughts as well. Let me know, what things do you look at when you compare with other people, and maybe help others and let others know that this is not a competition and we're all here to support each other, and success comes and kind of blossoms in different ways for everyone. So if you found this video helpful, then please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to see more from me. And if you want to try Jenni AI, then I will leave the link down below in the description, and I'll leave my code, which you'll see here as well, for 20% off the paid plans. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.